That tape wasn't done unless I had until the end of time. I'll be there for you. 'Cause if somebody was going to take me down in my pure teenage years, they was going to be taking me down off the I truly adore you. Oh, my life, my be waiting for you. No, how you do. In 1987, Prince fell hard for the artistry of Mavis Staples. When LaBelle singer Nona Hendryx recorded his song Baby Go Go, Mavis's fierce backing vocals evoked a Who's That from Prince. He dug back and started listening to and watching everything he could find on her career. Pause, y'all. The Facebook. Girl, you could start. That's why I don't fuck with the Facebook no more. Because it's the devil. You can start on your friend's page and end up on somebody's page over there in Florida that you ain't never seen or met before. And you be like, how the fuck did I get here? I don't even know this person. Why am I here? It's because the Facebook will take you there. It's called the dark Facebook. No, it's not. I just made that up. The light bulb moment arrived when he came across the Staples singers' performance in the Soul to Soul movie, documenting their 1971 concert in Ghana. Mavis sings until she is so inside the moment, her eyes well and her voice trembles. Prince's eyes glisten, too, when he recreates the moment. I've been in love with Mavis since I saw that movie. I would watch her and the part where they sing a cappella. It's like when you see someone possessed. My grandmother would pass out because she'd be overwhelmed by that Holy Ghost feeling. It's like you can call something into existence, and Mavis can call that up just like that. I look at her and I wonder if she goes somewhere else because of what she sings about. When I saw that moment in Soul to Soul, I thought, this is my mother. When I met her, we recognized each other. After all these years, I'd finally met this person, and it's like I'd known her all my life. That's how deeply that music, her voice, her presence affected me. Okay, so we know that Prince don't want to hunch on his mammy. We know that everything Prince touched, he fudges. Okay, and we know that he saw Mavis in a motherly type way. So Mavis was safe when she was down there in the studio with him. You other bitches, hey, it's Prince now. Don't be dumb when you go down there in the Paisley Park. In 1987, Mavis turned 48 years old. By MTV era standards, she was already a has-been, and some days she felt like one. She couldn't even land a weekend job DJing gospel records or shilling for hair products. But her magnificence was undiminished when put in the proper context, and Prince knew he was in a position to provide that. That's hard to do, baby. Mystery that he is, Prince was not much for talk of any kind in 1987, which baffled the garrulous. Why did he have to use that word? You know this man makes me sick. And some of y'all, hold on, let me get my thing, because some of y'all agree with me. This ninja makes us sick, y'all. Like garrulous, it's G-A-R. Hold on, let's Google it. Excessively talkative, especially on trivial matters. The fuck he just ain't say talkative? Why he had to say garrulous Mavis? Why do he have to say that? Like he just gets on my nerves. Nora Neal, Noreneal, 7252. Let's read what he wrote. The author Ben lost me when he started talking about some I'll Take You There and Come Go With Me had a reggae beat. Absolutely not. Those songs were straight soul and church. His manager, Rob Cavallo, called Pops that spring looking for Mavis. I said, "What's Prince gonna write for me?" Mavis says. I'd heard the songs he's written for Apollonia and Vanity, and I wouldn't sing that stuff. That's teeny bopper stuff. But he, Cavallo, said Prince is very much aware of the nature of your talent, and he will be writing adult contemporary songs for you. If I could have done a cartwheel right there, I would have. A few months later, in August, Cavallo called again to say Prince wanted to meet Mavis backstage at a Staples Singers concert at the Los Angeles Forum. I thought I was going to be cool when I met him, Mavis says. But when I met him backstage with his white suit, lucite cane, his white pumps, cool went out the window. I just screamed. He was so cute, I said. Prince, let me kiss you. Mavis was thrilled about the opportunity, but concerned whether she and Prince would ever break the ice and be able to talk like true collaborators. The next year, Prince asked Mavis to join him on the Love Sexy tour in Paris, and she duetted with him on the Staples Singers' I'll Take You There. By the time we got to London, he opened up totally, telling me all kinds of things about himself and what he was trying to do with his music, she says. When we started working together, she'd write me letters and she'd want to make sure I was eating properly, taking care of myself, Prince says. When I got the first one, I thought it was so sweet. Then she wrote another and another. They were all so encouraging. The first Mavis album on the singer's Prince Paisley label, Time Waits for No One, was written and produced by Prince. Prince began to sink more deeply with Mavis on Melody Cool, a song for his 1990 movie Graffiti Bridge. Mavis would also play a character named Melody Cool in the movie, in which Prince's alter ego, the Kid and the Times Morris Day, jouts for ownership of the Glam Slam nightclub. The hokey plot was salvaged by the music, with Mavis as a voice of plain-spoken wisdom. Well, we know that Graffiti Bridge, even though I went to go see that, how old was I? I think I was barely 19 then. But we know that Graffiti Bridge didn't do well at all. The movie was a commercial and critical flop, but Mavis came out of it with her profile raised and her reputation enhanced. Her letters helped Prince build a strong backlog of songs for her next studio album, The Voice. In 1963, easily her strongest work since the 70s. So keep in mind, this is around the time that Prince was going through issues with his label. Later, the work that Mavis Staples did with Prince got mixed up in the shuffle where Prince had dropped his name. Niggas, you can have the name. I just want to be free. Because he was trying to leave Warner Brothers. It was in 1993 that Prince changed his name to a symbol, as if trying to erase his past. And 3 years later, he severed his ties with the label. Man, that was some of his best music. So listen up, y'all. For us Gen Xers, we're going to be able to relate to this. Remember in the 80s when we thought we was grown and we would listen to The Quiet Storm? We would make our own tapes. The Quiet Storm, something warm. We would listen to The Quiet Storm and listen out for our wants, for what we wanted on that tape that we were creating, child. Sometimes I would name my tapes after my boyfriend of the time. Okay, let's just say my boyfriend of the time. Let's say his name was Buck. It was. But I would create this tape, and it was all love songs, and I would imagine myself making love to my boyfriend Buck and playing this music. Ooh, when I finally do get the booty to somebody, this tape is specifically for Buck. Whether it was for Buck, whether it was for Randy, whether it was for Frog, whether it was for Gary, whoever the tape was for. Okay, because I was a teenager at the time, okay, and I fell in love every 2 weeks. If I had a different boyfriend every 2 weeks, you better believe every tape had the same song on it, no matter what the playlist was. It could be You Don't Have to Cry. It could be Sweeter Than the Kiss of a Midnight Rendezvous. Or Fire and Desire. Anything, baby. It could be anything. You better believe that tape wasn't done unless I had Until the End of Time. I'll be there for you. Cause if somebody was going to take me down in my pure teenage years, they was going to be taking me down off the I Truly Adore You. Despite the drama, the Prince Association restored Mavis's stature as an artist, and by extension, the relevance of the Staple Singers. A series of box sets began chronicling the history of Stax Records in the early 90s, prominently featuring the Staples' work, and BB and CeCe Winans scored a #1 R&B hit in 1991 with the remake of I'll Take You There, with a Mavis cameo. Well, that's beautiful. In November 2000, Pops suffered a concussion in a fall outside his home in Dalton, Illinois. On the morning of December 19, just a few days short of what would have been his 86th birthday, the Staples patriarch died. Trinity Unity Church of Christ on 95th Street was packed for his funeral a few days later. Gladys Knight sang and Jesse Jackson spoke, then Marty Stewart. Cleotha might have taken Pop's death the hardest of anyone in the family. Even though she was only a few years older than Mavis, Yvonne, and Purvis, they saw Cleo as the old granny sister. Cleotha had been diagnosed in the early stages of Alzheimer's disease around the time of Pop's death. And afterwards, she just couldn't hold it together anymore, Mavis recalls. Cleety lived in the same condominium complex as Mavis, and Mavis arranged for her sister to receive 24-hour care at home. But Cleety would never sing again. With her illness and Pop's death, the Staple Singers were done. Without Pop's signature guitar sound and Cleety's high harmonies, Mavis felt lost, not just personally, but musically. So it took her a minute to get herself together, of course. But after a while, she garnered the strength and she started picking up gigs. When you're so close to your parents, baby, when they die, you die. You know, and I hate that it's like that, but it's true. Mavis started picking up the phone, accepting singing gigs wherever they came. Albums by Los Lobos and Dr. John, tribute compilations to Johnny Paycheck, Johnny Cash, and Stephen Foster, and a galvanizing appearance at the 2003 Soul Comes Home concert with Isaac Hayes, Ann Peebles, and Carla Thomas at the Orpheum Theater in Memphis. One of the calls came from her old sweetheart, Bob Dylan, who invited her and Yvonne to Los Angeles to record a new version of his track, Gonna Change My Way of Thinking, for a 2003 tribute album, Gotta Serve Somebody. Now we know that Mavis spent and spends the rest of her life making sure that people know who Pops Staples is. Since Pop's death, she's performed regularly, but not a great deal. People had forgotten about her, but she invested in herself when there was no record deal, Bill Carpenter says. The Alligator record was a good, decent record. It got reviewed well, and it put her name out there again. If you don't have a machine behind you, and the Staples never really had one, you do things to create buzz for yourself. She did. That CD was the basis of everything that came after.